Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Fans of Sister Wives have witnessed Kody's mistreatment of each of his wives over the years. He has often verbally abused them and has never shown consideration for their feelings. Janelle and Christine talked candidly about Kody's harmful behaviors in Season 19's Tell-All. They talked about how Kody attempted to hit his wives on their tender points during their one-on-one. He deliberately struck them in the most painful spot. The ex-wives eventually revealed Kody's evil tendencies in an exclusive preview of Part 3 of the Tell-All, and he now finds joy in causing harm to others. According to Janelle, you may deliberately target their most egotistical belongings or behaviors in order to harm them while they are at their lowest. They also talked about their individual experiences and how they have interacted with him over time. Janelle Brown, a sister wife, calls Kody a failure for destroying their family. Janelle Brown revealed some shocking information in the most recent Tell-All episode of Season 19. She referred to Kody as a failure for severing their several families. He didn't act in a way that preserved the family unit, and now he simply continues to place the blame elsewhere. Every member departed from the church as well. Kody was unable to keep things together. Janelle went on to point out that the other two ex-wives share her belief that he is being mistaken. She also disclosed that she no longer desires a relationship with either Robyn or him. Janelle and Christine, sister wives, describe how Kody tortured them. We now know that Kody enjoys torturing his own wife, and he has a few strategies at his disposal to torment them in every manner imaginable. Kody attacked them where he knew it would hurt them the most, Christine and Janelle disclosed in the Tell-All. He therefore made it a point to target them where they were vulnerable. According to Janelle, Kody hit all of his spouses in the region that caused them the greatest pain, according to the latest teaser released by US Weekly. Or at the things that they're most proud of or that they cherish the most. She was discussing her personal experience and how she witnessed Kody treating everyone else in the same way. She went on to say that because he knew it would annoy her, Kody was constantly telling everyone that she was somehow making the financial decisions. After all, she wanted to be financially responsible and was constantly worried about the state of the finances. I think it's crazy that he was telling everyone that I was in charge, Janelle went on. He did that to discredit her. Christian went on to say that Kody was aware that she would suffer from the financial blame. Thus, he intentionally did that. She went on to say that he picks them carefully and knows how to set them off. She said he used her need for close physical contact as a weapon against her. Janelle concurred, stating that he was aware that Christine would be offended when he called her unattractive. Thus, he repeated it repeatedly. Christine was devastated by the revelation of physical intimacy, she continued. Christine came to terms with the fact that Kody was torturing her in this way. As Kody continues to deny that his unjust relationship with Robyn was a major factor in the family's dissolution, the Tell-All section of Sister Wives Season 19 is becoming increasingly heated. Suki even chastised him for blaming the other wives instead of accepting responsibility. Additionally, he is adamant about his claim that he and Robyn share a sacred bond. However, as Meri targets Christine in Tell-All Part 3, things become more complex. Read on to find out what transpired. Sister Wives, was Meri tricked by Kody Brown? In the first and second segments of the Tell-All, Meri Brown's odd familiarity toward Kody was immediately observed by certain Sister Wives fans. It was made even clearer when Meri saw an old video of herself and Kody together, in which she unintentionally backed into him, resulting in a funny, yet awkward situation. Meri even took pleasure in the fact that Kody saw her as his favorite ex-wife. Some, however, believe that 2 weeks before to the Tell-All, Kody had influenced Meri. They think he became friends with her in order to keep her from disparaging him at the Tell-All, and it appeared to work out. Even the fact that Kody was mourning her leaving the family and displaying feelings he hadn't displayed in years perplexed Meri. Christine is attacked by Meri in Tell-All Part 3. A new teaser video for the Sister Wives Tell-All's impending Part 3 has been made public by TLC. During the one-on-one interview, Meri Brown attacks Christine for bringing David Woolley in and discussing their ex-husband, Kody. Why the hell is Christine sitting there and talking to her husband about her ex? Meri yelled at Suki. The video then cut to Kody claiming that Robyn and he were constantly accused of wanting just each other. It was just internet BS, Kody said, adding that it was a crappy remark about their family. Janelle, on the other hand, added that Kody must explain why Robyn was so ideal for him. Janelle and Kody Brown, sister wives, argue about Coyote Pass. The Sister Wives Tell-All's third installment will also include Kody Brown claims that he withheld information from Janelle because he simply doesn't trust her with the Coyote Pass property. However, Janelle thinks it only demonstrates Kody's self-centered nature. Meri also believes that the Coyote Pass shown their level of trustworthiness. After a protracted argument, Kody and his ex-wives reportedly sold the entire Coyote Pass. When it sold for $1.5 million, Robyn, Janelle, Meri, and Kody divided the proceeds. Since she had previously sold her portion of the property to Kody and Robyn after leaving the family for $10, Christine was unable to participate. This week's one-on-one with Sukanya Krishnan gave Sister Wives fans a good dose of Robyn Brown. If it wasn't Robyn's snide responses to the questions, it was Kody Brown, who in the most recent episode of the TLC show criticized the other spouses for their attitude toward Robyn. Sister Wives. Robyn Brown ignores valid grievances. Fans of Sister Wives are already aware of how the actions of Robyn and Kody Brown caused this multiple marriage to fail. Thus, this is nothing new. However, it's eye-opening to hear what each of the Sister Wives spouses have to say about Robyn Brown and Kody. Hearing Kody and Robyn brush off the criticism is even more eye-opening. This is due to the fact that fans witness the behavior, which Robyn and Kody deny on the show, firsthand. Kody and Robyn respond to these disparaging remarks in various ways. Robyn Brown has a caustic, dismissive attitude, while Kody Brown gets upset. Moo. Robyn the sacred cow. Suki made an effort to convince Robyn that Janelle had valid grievances during her marriage to the patriarch of Sister Wives. However, Suki told Robyn that when Janelle attempted to discuss it with Kody, he cut her off. Then, according to Janelle, it was as though Robyn was Kody's holy cow. You couldn't mention her to him at all. Robyn's initial reaction to Suki's question about her feelings over Janelle's sacred cow statement was moo. Additionally, Robyn's presentation of that moo is described by fans as having a sardonic smile plastered on her face. Robyn's usual response when she was still in a polygamous relationship is not the same as this. Robyn would weep uncontrollably over whatever she heard about herself when she had other wives with her. Kody Brown's last wife is seen by Sister Wives fans exactly where she wants to be. Robyn was viewed by Sister Wives viewers as if they had never seen her before. Indeed, viewers had a suspicion that her tears were not real. However, her who cares demeanor on screen this week was the verifiable evidence. Anything that was said about Robyn infuriated Kody. A frenzied, he worked himself into. Even Suki reminded him that by refusing to respond to Suki's questions, he was behaving like a baby. Robyn Brown was defended by the Sister Wives' ex-husband, but she acted as like it didn't matter. It appears that Kody goes to greater lengths today to protect a woman he believes to be on his side. However, supporters believe he might want to assess Robyn's disposition before it's too late, and the connections within the family are irreparable. Additionally, we haven't seen much reconciliation between him and his kids on the TLC show this season, so perhaps it's too late for him to have a friendly relationship with his ex-wives and a love relationship with his kids. Fans of Sister Wives. Tony Padron and Michael T. Brown Padron were recently answering some fan questions on a podcast, and Tony's response seemed to absolutely surprise his wife. As a result, I'm wondering, and I believe Michael T. Brown Padron is wondering right now whether or not Tony Padron is letting his kids hang about in filthy diapers. It's quite humorous. Sister Wives. Michael T. and Tony's early years together. If you are unfamiliar with the history of this Sister Wives duo, Michael T. was 19 and Tony was 21 when they began dating nearly 10 years ago. And the two became engaged 10 months after they first began dating. He proposed beside a waterfall just before her 20th birthday. "We are perfect together," Michael T. said at the time. Additionally, it sounds like the operative word there. Because, their 3 children would be a little uncomfortable and possibly odorous if left alone with Tony. Sister Wives fans will find this hilarious, and I'll explain why in a moment. The path to parenthood for Mykelti and Tony. Thus, Tony and Mykelti were married less than 6 months after Tony proposed. Fans of Sister Wives were able to witness both the actual wedding and all of the preparations back in 2016. Their ages were 20 and 22. After that, they took their time before having children. Therefore, being extremely young and not knowing any better is not an excuse here. They have also spent a lot of time with children, particularly Mykelti. She therefore disclosed that Tony and Mykelti were expecting their first child over 4 years after their marriage. At the time, they were about 24 and 26. Sister Wives. The twins' attention and Avalon's arrival. Avalon, the daughter of this Sister Wives couple, was born in the spring of 2021. Mykelti was born at home, and Avalon is now 4 years old. Since their daughter may already be potty-trained or almost potty-trained, I don't believe this fan inquiry was about her. The question, in my opinion, was more about the twins. Their twin boys were born in late 2022, and Mykelti and Tony also have them. They gave the boys the names Ace and Archer Padrone in keeping with their A motif for initial names, such as Avalon. They are clearly still in diapers because they are 2.5 years old. Additionally, I believe the fan was inquiring about the lads. Tony's changing diaper habits, a funny argument. Tony was responding to a fan inquiry about changing diapers on Sister Wives. First of all, Tony deserves praise for taking part in the diaper change. Not every husband does. It was fantastic for mine. While some husbands are decent, others are bad. Additionally, Mykelti's father, Kody+Robyn, was accused of infrequently changing the diapers of his children with Meri Brown, Janelle+Brown, and Christine Brown. I believe this was at Maddie's first baby shower. However, it seems that Kody was a more involved father with Robyn Brown's children. However, that isn't all that shocking. Anyway, Mykelti finds it humorous that Tony feels that something is wrong, but he deserves all the praise for being a wonderful father and changing diapers. The great diaper debate. Should Sister Wives use 4 or 8 diapers for each child? Fans of Sister Wives so observed Tony being questioned about the number of diapers they use each day. It's a reasonable question, and you would think it would be simple to respond to. But instead it became a heated argument between husband and wife, and a humorous one at that. After giving it some thought, Tony suggested that Mykelti change the diaper first thing in the morning, and she agreed. 3 hours or so later, he replied, "You change another one." However, Mykelti intervened to provide her husband a partial correction. "Unless there's a poop between the first and second one," she remarked. In a revelation that's sending shockwaves through the Sister Wives fanbase and igniting long-simmering tension across the Brown family's fractured legacy, Janelle and Christine Brown are finally speaking out, together, with what some are calling their most emotionally raw, unapologetically candid claims to date. Kody+Brown didn't just grow distant, detached, or overwhelmed during the unraveling of the plural marriage. He allegedly hit them where it hurt the most, weaponizing their vulnerabilities during arguments and deliberately targeting their deepest insecurities in ways they now believe were calculated, cruel, and ultimately unforgivable. In a joint conversation that felt more like a long-overdue therapy session than a typical reality TV confessional, the two former Sister Wives peeled back layers of emotional history that had long been buried under years of scripted smiles and public loyalty, exposing the underbelly of a spiritual union that many once believed to be unshakable. As they described it, Kody's pattern wasn't one of passive neglect. It was, according to them, one of emotional manipulation and ego-driven dominance, a method of control that struck precisely at their most tender wounds. For Christine, her decades-long battle to feel seen, loved, and prioritized. For Janelle, her exhausting uphill climb for respect, partnership, and autonomy. And now, with the marriages long over and the emotional dust settling into clarity, the two women are no longer holding back. Not when they've spent years pretending the wounds were minor, not when their healing depends on truth finally being said aloud. For Christine, it was always about never feeling like enough. Never thin enough, never spiritual enough, never first in Kody's eyes. He would say things, Christine explained in a confessional tone edged with disbelief, like, "You just don't understand how marriage works," or "You're always dramatic," and it didn't seem cruel at first, but looking back, those words were daggers. I didn't realize at the time how much they were chipping away at who I thought I was. According to her, Kody knew how deeply she wanted affirmation, and when the relationship hit rough patches, instead of offering comfort, she claims he would deflect by implying she was the source of the family chaos, a narrative that left her silenced in her pain and self-doubting in her worth. And Janelle? Her story is equally harrowing, but layered with a calm, analytical detachment that only comes after deep personal reflection. "I was never the emotional one," Janelle admitted, "but Kody knew how hard I worked, how much I carried for the family, how much of the burden I willingly took on." But instead of appreciation, Janelle says she often felt like Kody undermined her decisions, dismissed her financial stress, and conflated her independence with disrespect. She explained that whenever she'd raise a concern, be it about the children, the Coyote Pass land, or Kody's treatment of her, he'd respond not with collaboration but with biting sarcasm or cold lectures that made her feel small. He'd say things like, "You just want to do what you want," or "You never really understood the family's vision," things that made me feel like I didn't belong unless I was compliant. What's even more stunning is how Janelle and Christine, who once walked vastly different paths in the family dynamic, are now echoing each other in perfect harmony. Two women once positioned as vastly different in Kody's emotional orbit, now united by a shared trauma. And perhaps the most shocking part of all? Both women firmly believe that Kody knew what he was doing. "He's not stupid," Christine said bluntly. "He's smart. And he knows words have power. He would zero in on the one thing you feared most, that you weren't good enough, that you were hard to love, that you were selfish, and he'd say just enough to plant doubt in your head." Janelle nodded in agreement, adding that Kody often used his own frustration as justification. He'd say things like, "I'm just being honest," or "I can't help how I feel," but honesty without kindness is just cruelty. What's emerging now is a picture of a spiritual leader who may have been crumbling under pressure, but who, according to his former wives, chose to maintain control not by addressing his own issues, but by redirecting pain back onto the women who stood beside him. And now that they're out of the fog, Janelle and Christine are finding not just their voices, but solidarity in truth, support in shared pain, and empowerment in the realization that they were never too emotional or too independent. They were trying to thrive in a system that wasn't built for their individuality. While Kody has yet to publicly respond to these claims with any sort of detailed rebuttal, the fallout is already seismic. Fans are reevaluating past episodes with new eyes, suddenly realizing that behind every passive-aggressive joke or dismissive comment from Kody was a pattern of behavior that chipped away at the foundation long before the cracks were visible. And while Robyn Brown remains largely silent in this moment, often positioned as the last loyal wife left standing, her perceived role as Kody's emotional safe zone is once again being questioned. Was she simply Kody's favorite, or was she the only one who was spared the targeted remarks because she complied most with his emotional terms? Christine and Janelle don't address Robyn directly in their claims, but the unspoken tension speaks volumes. "I don't think he ever meant to destroy us," Christine added at one point, her voice breaking slightly. "But that doesn't mean he didn't. And now we're finally healing because we stopped pretending." As the Sister Wives saga enters a new era, one of painful truths, liberated women, and a patriarch who seems increasingly isolated in his righteousness, the emotional reckoning continues to unfold on screen and off. Fans are rallying behind Janelle and Christine like never before, not because they're perfect, but because they're finally saying what so many women have experienced: the slow erosion of confidence that comes from being in a relationship where your soft spots are not protected, but exposed and used as leverage. The days of keeping sweet and staying silent are over, and as Janelle and Christine step into their post-Kody power, one thing is crystal clear: they are no longer afraid of telling the whole story, even if it casts Kody in the harshest light yet. Both women firmly believe that Kody knew what he was doing. "He's not stupid," Christine said bluntly. "He's smart. And he knows words have power. He would zero in on the one thing you feared most, that you weren't good enough, that you were hard to love, that you were selfish, and he'd say just enough to plant doubt in your head. Janelle nodded in agreement, adding that Kody often used his own frustration as justification. He'd say things like, "I'm just being honest," or "I can't help how I feel," but honesty without kindness is just cruelty. What's emerging now is a picture of a spiritual leader who may have been crumbling under pressure, but who, according to his former wives, chose to maintain control not by addressing his own issues, but by redirecting pain back onto the women who stood beside him. And now that they're out of the fog,